What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting across from me this week and every week, he's the little engine that could. It's Desra.
I think I can introduce my partner, Brian Paul.
Woohoo, we're partners.
Segway.
We went down to City Hall earlier. It's official.
Hooray! Wait, what?
Sorry, Amanda. And every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we sit around, we talk about some old PlayStation VR games.
Way back when.
Games you might have forgotten about. Games that, you get to take out and blow the dust off of and see if, I don't know, if they're as good as they were when they came out.
Yep.
If they've been improved since they came out. It's an updated review discussion.
Exactly right. Yeah, we get a chance to take a deep dive on a game that's been around for a little bit and convince you into trying it out or avoiding it like the plague.
So that being said,
yes.
What game did we choose this week, Desra?
This week we're talking about Starblood Arena.
Oh my god. Did you just carry barf bags around for the last week?
Here's the weird thing.
Should we just get this out of the way? Should we just get the whole motion sickness discussion over with? Because this is what everybody tuned in for. They're like, holy no way.
I know.
That's
the most important thing.
Battlezone next?
Like the guy a couple weeks ago said, you know what? The only thing I watch the channel for is to hear Dez's motion sickness review.
Oh, wow.
That's not true. He said exactly the opposite of that.
There has to be one person out there that cares.
So here's the weird, and I will not say this is typical, but for 90% of this, I had no problem.
90%?
90%.
Let me guess. When you were turning on the, what axis would this be? The barrel roll axis? No problem there.
That wasn't, well, I didn't really do it that often anyways.
Yeah, I don't either.
It was weird. There was, well, we'll talk about the gameplay modes in a little bit, but there was one gameplay mode, the Invasion, I think it's called.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know, it was like the style I was flying around or something when I was doing that I had to tap out on.
That was the one.
Yep. And I was thinking about it today. I think it was probably because you're focused on these central points and you're kind of strafing around it.
Yeah.
Rather than everything else you're flying. So yeah, but that's starting to get into the gameplay a little bit. But yeah. So I'm not going to say my experience is typical for everybody because you definitely can have some serious motion sickness issues. But for whatever reason, this wasn't triggering my issues. So double thumbs up right off the bat, White Moon Dreams.
I'm super happy for you.
Yeah.
And super happy for everyone getting to watch this episode.
Yeah, this really got to scratch, I've said it before, like my gaming things are either like turn-based strategy, kind of puzzly games, or first-person shooters.
Okay.
And I really haven't had a lot of first-person shooting experiences in PSVR that didn't make me horrifically nauseous. So,
yeah. But we have a lot more games to play then.
Oh yeah, no, we got tons.
That's fantastic. So okay, this is great news. It's a great way to start off this episode with positive news. Obviously, you already said it. This is by White Moon Dreams, a little studio in South Pasadena, California.
Lucky bastards.
Beautiful.
Beautiful Worcester.
Bastards.
We live in Worcester.
Oh yeah, no.
There's people who live in places where the weather doesn't hurt them.
We had a tornado today. It was awesome. I opened my window for the first time in months. I'm like the anti-Des.
Yeah.
So this whole game is kind of played out as a TV show. There's TV hosts.
Oh right, this is the framing. Yes.
Yeah. The whole game is framed in a kind of a sports, like a futuristic televised sports channel.
It's Starblood Arena.
It's just and it's being aired on the Starblood network
or Starblood customization screen.
And two aliens on a couch.
Yes.
Those are our sports announcers.
Yeah, Jerry and Gnox, I think.
Yeah, look at you.
Yes.
Look at you doing all sorts of research that I didn't do.
Research, just saw their names like 300 times.
Normally things like this would piss me off. I'm like, this is such an overdone idea. Like, it's a futuristic sport and it's televised and but you know what? Here it was done so well.
Well, and that's like even so, laying all my cards on the table. When this game first came out, I played it a little bit. And I was just like, you know what? I was okay for now, but I don't want to push it. So I just kind of shelved it. Back in the, when it first launched and you guys, there's a lot of people on the channel were like playing online and all that. I was like, hey, that sounds great. I really don't want to risk it. It was only the past couple weeks that we talked about doing it for this episode. I really took a deep dive and started playing. Yeah. But even back then, when I first fired it up, I was like, this is a polished game.
Yeah.
There's so many times where we get, these games for, look, I know we've had kind of the indie developer discussion, but even from big titles, we've gotten these games that just don't look finished. They don't look polished. This, from top to bottom, everything is exactly that. It's polished. It looks great. And damn it, all right, bringing up the Moss thing again. All right, Starblood, over a year ago, showed us how good these games could look.
Yeah.
Moss, a few months ago, showed us how good these games could look. Developers, you don't have any excuses. All right? Sorry.
Yeah, it's not like White Moon Dreams is a huge team or anything. They did have assistance from Sony. We'll give them some credit, just like
Well,
Polyarc
sure.
did.
Yeah.
But guys, go get some assistance from Sony.
Right.
Obviously, they'll help you out.
Apparently, it's possible.
Yeah.
So, what kind of game is it? Actually, we haven't even talked about
Well,
that.
and that kind of leads me to a story.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
When this game came around,
A story. Let it come. Let it go.
$40 on Amazon.
That's for nobody in the audience.
It wasn't even for me. What was that?
That's, hey, Huddy, you're not watching this, but Tim, Toolman, you might have gotten that.
Hey, Tim.
All right.
So the fact is, this game showed up from Amazon. $40. $40 at launch.
Yeah.
And I got the physical retail copy. And I was like, I'm really not looking forward to this. And for so many reasons. Because if you go back to launch day, God, there it is,
April 11th,
2017.
2017.
2016. Usually it's at the top of my page, all the way down here for a different reason. You'll see, I was a different type of gamer then. In fact, I was still the type of gamer that on our old show, Gaming Without Parole, all I wanted to do was talk about these single player adventure games where it was narrative driven and story based and narrative driven story based. I'm just going to use a bunch of similar adjectives today. And all it is, I just wanted to play games by myself alone in the dark without anyone talking to me in my headset.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted VR for. And then this game showed up, and I was like, thank God the online is broken. Thank God this game doesn't work right, because I did a Let's Play, and I was like, okay, here's the basic mechanics, here's how the game works. I was like, but I can't review it because it's kind of busted.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank God, because I am the quintessential non-Call of Duty gamer. I am the non-online multiplayer competitive first-person shooter gamer. That's not my speed.
Right.
And I don't want to talk to people while I play games.
I really don't want to get yelled at by 12-year-olds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the game. I cannot believe it. This is the game that introduced me to Seraphim 190. This is the game that introduced me to Lewis Knight.
That's right.
This is the game that introduced me to JD. This is the game that introduced me to all of the coolest game cats. I mean, this is so many cool game cats. I don't want to single anyone out. But this was my OG crew getting online.
Yep.
And it was like a nightly thing. Every night it was like, hey, did you guys have time to play some Starblood? And we'd all get on and we'd talk shit to each other and we'd just goof off and talk and kill each other for hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. Starblood Arena, this game specifically, is what changed me from my single player story driven adventure games to, hey, let's get online and shoot our friends.
Yeah, and it's and I think we've had this discussion before with things like Bridge Crew and Spark, where maybe just because of VR, like the kind of person who's playing VR, it's just a much cooler environment. So kudos to all of us for being awesome, I guess. But
Sure.
yeah, you don't really have that annoying 12-year-old who's that person.
They're out there. I've played Spark against 20 of them.
Yeah.
Right? But
Spark lets you mute them.
The best thing the online, I talked about it being broken. Even here, all this time later, the online functionality still isn't perfect.
Yeah.
Right? We'll get into the ways they fix it and stuff. But basically, the best way you can get in there is to create your own crew. And when you create your own crew, then you're inviting people from your friends list. You're not just going in blind. And that's still the best way to play this game. Select your friends, invite them, get them all together. Talk to them ahead of time and say, hey, tonight it's Starblood night.
Yeah.
Because that is the best way to play this game. Playing with people you don't know can still be fun, but this is still my preferred way to play this.
Yeah. So it is, but we still haven't actually talked about the actual mechanic, how you play this game.
Oh, it's like Descent.
Yeah.
It's like Forsaken.
I guess, yeah. So it's 6 degrees of freedom. And
Zero gravity, basically.
Zero gravity, and you can fly around in any direction you want. And the brilliant part of this, and what is really, kind of overlooked, is how well the aiming system works. You control the orientation and the flight of your ship with your DualShock 4, but the aiming is tracked with your head. So you can very easily, I find myself all the time, be tracking something, shooting with your head while flying in a totally different direction. You're tracking someone up there, flip the ship around and follow behind. It's just so well done and so accurate that pretty much every other game that has this kind of mechanic needs to go and take a course from White Moon Dreams, because they absolutely nail the aiming mechanic.
Yeah, it's like this and Farpoint. Like they just have so much in common in terms of that. This is what VR is all about. I'm actually in this world, and I can do two things at the same time. I can look one way, and I can actually traverse in a different direction, and it all just makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Aiming with your head's an option. So if you don't like head tracking, then get used to it, because I can't imagine trying to play this game by firing only straight ahead.
Yeah, that would be. Maybe that would actually.
It would put you at a huge disadvantage.
Yes.
Like at least until you get used to it. But the fact is that like I'm flying in all sorts of directions and firing in different directions than the way I'm traveling. So I can't imagine, like it's definitely a handicap, and I don't know why you'd want to put that on yourself.
Yeah, just because you want things more difficult, I suppose.
Some people do want that. I mean, maybe Justin Parole does that. Justin's a beast at this game.
And when we're talking about aiming and head tracking and all that, I do have to throw in this again. Picking on the whole this is a polished game thing, each different character like has a character model where if you look around in the cockpit you see their arms and legs doing stuff, and it's not just they're statically holding it, like as you're moving they're moving their arms and whatnot. It's great, even to the point where there is one character which is actually three little aliens very reminiscent of the Toy Story aliens. Tic-Tac-Toe, I believe their names are, but they're still in the same chassis and seat. But since there's little aliens, one is actually holding onto this like has his arms wrapped around this joystick, the other one's here, and you're in the point of view of the third one. Just really cute. And you know what? Did they have to do any of that? No, they could have just had generic seat and generic hands, but they didn't. It's brilliant.
Yeah, like we give Wipeout Omega Collection a ton of praise as like one of the best VR games out there.
Sure.
But man, you look down in the cockpit and it's like these like tiny. I mean, like I think. It's like somebody who's half of my size.
Yeah.
They're like 98 pounds, dripping wet.
Yeah.
And they just don't move the entire time. And it's like, hey, buddy, turn the music on.
Yeah, and the scale. Yeah.
What's going on?
And the scale is exactly right too. Even the creatures, the pilots that are bigger or smaller, you just feel like you're seeing it from their point of view. So that, I mean, again, just a tiny little touch that didn't need to do, but they put the effort in.
And this is a game that, like, other than the online component, I was like very, very nervous about because games like the only games that really came close to this in my book back in the day were Descent on PlayStation 1, PC, N64, and Forsaken. And I'll tell you that those games, you moved pretty slow.
Yeah.
And they were like mazes. Every level was like a maze.
Yep.
And getting lost in those mazes were super easy. And I already have a bad sense of direction. I get lost on my way to work sometimes.
And that's where I see, like, you see reviews online, like, oh, it's like Descent. It's like, no, it's nothing like Descent. It's like Descent in that you have 6 degrees of freedom, but that's like saying, I don't know, Abduction is like Quake. I mean, yes, you're walking around and you're seeing things from a first point of view, but they're two very, very different games.
Do you move around with teleportation in Quake?
Well, I was talking about.
Are there loading screens every 5 seconds in Quake?
My point, actually.
So, but that's the but that's the thing is that if you're looking at this and you're saying, "Hey, Brian, I totally agree with you. This looks like Descent."
Yeah.
No, you're not agreeing with me because it looks like something like that. But you never have to really worry about getting lost. These arenas are big, but they're not gigantic to the point of getting lost.
That's something I wanted, like, the sense of scale in the arenas is exactly right. Like, it is a large space, but there's all these nooks and crannies and everywhere. And, you know, what's very cool about it, especially the first couple times you play it, your spawn points are sort of randomized. And the levels are so well designed, like you could spawn and think, oh, this is like this weird little kind of cavern place. Okay, then you fly out and like, oh my god, there's this huge central room with these giant crystals and mechanic stuff in the middle.
Yeah, and if you fly into that center room, like so you're so used to like everything being kind of tight and close around you, like that you gotta suddenly realize that there could be an enemy directly above you, directly below you. Like you have to like look all around. It's VR, and you can't forget that. Otherwise, the second you go into that room, you are getting shot at from 3 different directions.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And another thing that's great about level design is they've really taken into account that you are in zero G with 6 degrees of freedom, and you're going to come into this room at all sorts of different angles and orientations, and it looks good and functional from any way you get thrown into it.
Yeah,
it's not, they're, again, going back to Descent, there were definitely places in Descent where you're like, no, you're supposed to come into this at this sort of direction. And no, these worlds make sense. Like, you're upside down because there is signage and things like that, but it doesn't matter as because you're keeping track of all your other enemies and opponents that are going on.
And the level variety here
Yeah.
is fantastic because there are, I don't even know how many different levels there
12.
are. 12 different levels.
Yes.
But they're somehow all wildly different. And the level design is different for each one, like to the point where it requires a different strategy for each level.
Yeah.
But stylistically, they all look different. But stylistically, they all somehow fit into the same world.
Yeah,
like Starblood Arena is a game that exists in a real place in the future, and it's weird because like one of the levels has like a little shanty town. You see like little tents and stuff set up at the bottom. You're like, what are all these homeless people doing at the bottom of this arena?
Can I blow it up?
Right? And it's like, boy, they got a front row seat for this.
Yeah.
Like, no, they didn't sign up for this. This is just happening because they're homeless, and like this is a weird ass future, man. And but it all makes sense somehow in the context of this world. I loved it. I love the style of this game.
And kind of piggybacking onto the different variety there, I've kind of sort of one of the undercurrents of my time on the show has been complaining about playing a game and unlocking stuff that just changes the appearance of something, but not actually the core mechanics.
Okay.
So you've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 8 different? No, 9. 9 different pilots to choose from with 9 different ships. They couldn't be any more different from each other.
No.
Just strategically, and that's the thing. Like, if you play one of these ships and you're like, "Oh, this one sucks," it's like, no, it doesn't suck. You just don't know how to use it.
Yeah. The more you play any of these, the better you get at them.
Yeah, and they have like ships and pilots for every type of play style. You want a sniper, you're going to do support, you're going to do like close up. One of my favorites was Blade, this kind of like dinosaur reptile looking thing. And he's a close-up fighter, which you think like in a ship combat kind of thing, how would you do that? Well, what he does, he has some, his main weapons are fine, but he actually has this plasma wing thing, and you basically line it up, and you see this track, and so you need to aim and see, okay, there's this opponent, line up the track, and then boom, you like lunge through them and just take them all out at once. It's so satisfying.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think the more you play this, it's like yes, you'll get better at each different pilot, but also you'll discover which one suits your play style.
Right.
I discovered pretty early on that Elsa's my girl.
Yeah, Elsa's fantastic. She's definitely my number 2.
Yeah, to the point where, almost embarrassingly so, White Moon Dreams named one of their bots, named their Elsa bot after us.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you go online and you see an Elsa bot and it's called No Parole with a little heart. That's us.
I kicked No Parole's ass this afternoon.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was doing the single player, and it was like 8 bots, and it was I got first, and like No Parole was down way at the bottom.
Well, then it plays just like me. You know whose ass I kicked when I was playing today?
Who's that?
Frank the Tank.
Ooh,
that's right.
Frank the Tank. Hey, Frank.
What's up, dude?
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's not like. I do want to stress this. You need to learn how to pilot these. And what's great is the mods that you unlock. Again, I hate these like, oh great, now my ship's pink. Yes, you can do that. You can change the colors of your ship. But you do unlock mods that very definitely change the way you play, change your tactics, change how your weapons work. So
can we gotta talk about this for a second?
Yeah.
This look at all this stuff. You can unlock different color paints, ship parts, loadouts, perks. And it's all done in the most annoying way possible.
That's a problem.
This is the first huge thing I'm giving this game.
Yeah.
Because every time you finish a level, depending on your performance, you get credits.
Right.
And you can spend those credits buying basically, I don't know what they're called in the game, but 2 different loot crates.
Yeah.
One of them's like a cheap, very common loot crate, and one's upscaled, something more unique, something more rare. You might find like a legendary item. Do they call them legendary in this game? I don't think so.
Not really, but it's the same idea.
But
hey, you know what? Before we go on, covering on it too much, because I know what you're gonna. And I agree with a lot of what you're about to say. At least it's not real microtransactions.
No, you pay for it once and you're done.
Yeah.
So, but the other part of this is that you just never know what you're gonna get, and the whole transaction is so slow. It's not like
it's really slow.
Right? If you buy it, boom, it pops up. Boom, buy it, pops up. Boom, buy it, pops up. No, I could handle that if it was like buy it. But and it seemed especially slow today. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if like maybe the last update slowed this down somehow.
Okay.
But man, is it a slow transaction process? You click you want to buy it, and a few seconds later, then the loot crate box pops up on the screen, and then a few seconds later it opens up, and then a second later you see what you got, and then a second later you can move on, and then a second later you can actually buy. It's like, oh my god, I have literally millions of credits, and these things cost only a few thousand each. I'm like, this is going to take all day, and they're randomized.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're going to get. And so you could just do this all day and never get anything good.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather have a virtual store and see how much different things cost and save up and be like, oh man, do I really want to buy this thing right now? Or save up for like the next 4 hours so I can buy this awesome thing down here. It's that's the whole reward system that's more enjoyable.
Right, or even if you want to keep the randomized thing, which I kind of understand that. Like you don't necessarily want to know what you're getting. But then say like, okay, paints. You're going to get a randomized paint.
Okay.
Or a randomized mod or something.
Right.
So I can actually at least choose the class of thing I want to get.
Yeah, so you can point your focus somewhere.
Right. And then on the flip side, so once you've spent your hard-earned credits and sit there, like honestly, the first time I did it, I thought it was broken.
Yeah.
Like I waited so long, I was like, oh, I'm just hitting the button, and there's not
mine
even
actually broke today.
Oh, did it?
Oh yeah, I hit the button and nothing happened for literally a minute, and I was like, oh god, it broke.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
But then applying your customized thing, that's really long and difficult too, because instead of like, okay, you've unlocked, say, these 5 paint colors, and then being right there, it's like, no, there are 30 paint colors in this kind of like carousel sort of thing, and you need to flip through every single one till you find the one you want.
It's a pain.
Yeah, so maybe nitpicking, but what is one kind of glaring flaw in an otherwise real fun game.
What I will say is that when you finally unlock all the cool stuff, and you're going to play forever before you unlock everything. I can't imagine how long that would take.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played for countless hours, and I have so little stuff. Of course, I have 2 million credits. So.
Right.
But what's cool is when you go online and you see somebody that you don't know, and they're flying around in like a super decked out ship, and you're like, that is cool.
I want.
Like, what is that on top of your ship? I've never seen one of those. Oh my god, look at the color. I've never seen that color.
Which is where the randomness comes in.
Right. And so it is pretty cool to see to see like a really rare, like decked out customized ship, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait. Can't wait till my ship can look like that. So we talked about all that stuff. We definitely talked about controls and motion sickness. So we're blasting through this thing here. I do want to say that this is the first game graphically that convinced me that having a PlayStation 4 Pro was worthwhile.
Really? Okay.
Because
it looks pretty darn good on the regular.
Exactly. And so when I first got my Pro, I was sort of going through my games slowly, picking a different game out every, maybe a few games a day, and just being like, oh, I wonder if this looks much different. I wonder if this looks much different. And there are certain games, like I remember starting up Farpoint, and I was like, oh man, that spider that's jumping at me really quickly is like is much more defined, and it stands out from the background a little bit more. I'm like, okay, they must have bumped the resolution up in this game a bit. But then I dropped into Starblood, and I remember doing this, and I was playing online with the gang, kitties, and they were, and I remember just stopping in awe, being like, oh guys, this is my first time playing this with the Pro.
Right.
It like the level of immersion, the depth of each level, just feels so much deeper. I don't know if the graphics are I don't know if the resolution is any higher, but it just, that sense of immersion is like just pushed through the roof.
Let's try that later.
Yeah, it's very cool. And so so this definitely gets my Pro advantage for sure. And I was blown away. Like I said, the first game to make me think that the Pro is definitely worth your money. Yeah.
And just one other, while we're gushing, so we talked about the graphics. Yeah. We talked about note on the gameplay. It's both very simple and very complicated as far as your control scheme goes. Yeah. Because you've got, you control X, is it XY here, left, right here. Anyways,
it's so hard to discuss when you're not actually playing the game.
Shoulder buttons. Yeah, no, shoulder buttons are your actual relative height. But what I really want to talk about is firing. You have one primary gun that's controlled by, I think it's
R2.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You actually the trigger R2, but actually the triangle up there top.
Oh, that switches your weapons, doesn't it?
Yeah, it switches your weapons.
Yep.
So your primary, you kind of have unlimited ammo, but kind of not. So like you fire your primary until it's out, then you have to switch to your other one, and then you can fire that while the other one, your other gun recharges. And then as you create damage, then you have a heavy weapon, which is that one I know is square. Which, depending on your weapon, your ship has some really awesome effects. But you're constantly, like, when I say you need to learn how to pilot it, you need to learn how to control the weapons and cycle through your weapons with the right timing so that, for instance, Apollonia, she's a hunter, and she seems like she's pretty kind of lame at first because all she has is this one pretty devastating sort of shotgun blast, but you have to be really close. And she's not the most maneuverable, but then you find out her special weapons are like a harpoon where if you hit a target with it, they stop cold. And so then you can swoop in and hit. So
right, 1-2 punch.
Yeah, the juggling of between your weapons and learning. So, anyways.
And listen, pro tip: if you really want to know how to get away in this game with murder, just keep dropping mines like crazy.
Oh yeah,
just every single time you get another mine, just keep hitting X. Just keep dropping them everywhere you go because you'll be killing dudes left and right. And that you won't in your kill count will just keep going up. And you like, how did that even happen? Like, because I killed 3 guys back there with some mines that I left like 10 minutes ago.
Coincidentally, 2 mods I unlocked were 1, increase the distance which a mine will start to attract to someone.
Nice.
And 2, increase the speed which the mine moved.
Awesome.
And it was great having those. Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep dropping them nonstop.
Oh my God,
I learned that very early, and it helped me immensely. Okay, so we have gushed quite a bit about this game. There's definitely something. This is the big pivotal downfall of not just Starblood Arena, but kind of PSVR games in general right now.
I know what you're gonna say.
There's nobody playing online.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. He doesn't care.
Nope.
But again, okay. So before I go into this whole rant about no one's playing online, I do want to say I already said. You want to play this game with people you know. You want to create a little crew. You want to like go in and like invite all your friends and make this a Starblood night. Now, and I will say that that White Moon Dreams has done everything possible to not only be active in the community. They're constantly on Reddit.
Oh yeah,
they're constantly reaching out to the different YouTube channels. They're doing everything they can. They're reaching out to the community. They're doing Wednesday night wars so you can play against the developers. They're doing what is it? What was the Sunday showdowns? They were having like these scheduled nights from like this time to this time where they were trying to get everyone to go online and play together.
Yeah.
Not only that. But as a lot of you know, a lot of people don't buy games if there's no demos out. And so in August 15th of 2017, they released a free Starblood demo. They kept dropping the price of this game. It was $40 when it came out. July 13th of 2017, it got dropped to $20. January to almost March of this year, it was free on PlayStation Plus. And currently, it's at an all-time low price of $14.99.
I was going to say, I looked on Amazon just out of curiosity. You can get a physical copy, and if you have Prime, shipped for free for it was $13.99 actually.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so they are doing all the right things in terms of pricing this game accordingly or appropriately, trying to get people to come try it, trying to get people to play it. The fact that it was free on PlayStation Plus is like mind blowing that people aren't playing this on a regular basis. So this is an issue, and it's an issue with all PSVR games, and that's why you need to come join our community, PSVR Without Parole Gamecast, and that way when you want to play this game, you go onto the community or any other community that you feel like getting onto, and you go in and you go, hey, who wants to play Starblood tonight?
Right.
And then you get your little crew together, and that solves the problem. The problem is if you want to play with a bunch of randos, you're just kind of out of luck because.
But do you really? And I will say, like, I was kind of jokingly whispering, I don't care, because honestly, I played for 3 hours today, not online at all, and I had a blast. They have so much granular control. Like when you're setting up the single player, you have so much control over the number of bots, their difficulty levels, all that. I just had a blast messing with it, just all the options there. Yeah. So, you know what? I don't even consider that, like, if there wasn't a multiplayer part of this, like if it was just single player, I would still think this is a great game.
At the current price of $15, I totally agree with you.
Okay,
and that's the thing. That's why I'm saying that, like, they are doing all the right things. They're dropping the price as I don't want to say as the value goes down, but but as fewer people are playing, that's
Yeah.
sort of the case. And so I just wanted to get that out there. I didn't want anyone to like jump in and get this game and be like, "Where is everybody?"
Yeah.
Well, they're everywhere, but we need to like rein them in and be like, "Hey guys, let's go play this together on a certain night." And I'll say I played against bots today, and I missed my friends. I will say that.
No, it's very, playing online with friends versus playing with bots. Yeah, there are two different experiences, but I'm saying they're both fun.
Yep.
In this.
Is it time?
Well, there's one.
There's always a Des nugget.
Actually, this is one I've been trying to say,
Okay.
and I keep distracting myself.
Keep cutting you off.
The music.
Oh God, the music's so good.
First of all, how did you guys afford Everclear?
Wait, Everclear's in this game?
Everclear is on there. Yeah.
How did I not notice that?
I had to check. I'm like, Everclear. No, maybe it's some like indie band that has the same name and got away with it. Like, no, then it came through on my thing. I was like, no, it's Everclear. And then, all right, I really like this game. And like Brian has said, the developers have been really great for the community. But I fell in love with you guys when I saw Reverend Horton Heat on the playlist.
How am I missing all these songs?
Psycho Billy Freak Out.
Wait, I know this song.
Yeah.
Where are these hiding? I haven't heard this.
So if you go into the audio options,
Okay,
you have a few choices.
Okay.
And one of them is just like this kind of sort of generic sort of electronic music. The other
That's what
is
I've been
like
listening to, and even that's really good.
Right. There's the rock soundtrack.
All of this time, I didn't even know it existed.
And there's a handful of tracks on there, but they're all really, really good. And so you can randomize them or you can choose. So I was random at first, and I didn't get to the Reverend Horton Heat. And then I was going through the audio options like, oh, all right, Psychobilly Freakout. Yep, that's what I'm playing for the next 3 hours. Yeah.
Does it have Jesus and Mary Chain?
No, it doesn't.
Then it's a 3. We're out of here. Get out. This game sucks.
So yeah, like seriously, guys. I mean, not to diminish like your status at all, but how like Everclear really? Just yeah. All right. Anyways,
it's time to rate the sucker.
It is time. So our rating scale is pretty simple. Number 1 is, oh my god, if you have a PSVR, you have to have this in your library. End of discussion. Number 2, it's okay. If it's on sale, go ahead, pick it up. If it's a genre you really, really like, sure, grab it. We're not going to make fun of you for buying it. 3, well, yeah, Brian might.
Make fun of everybody for everything.
3 is no. No. Do not buy this. Do not let your friends buy it.
Girl.
It's true. We need to vote with our wallets, and we're going to vote by not buying this piece of crap.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? 1, 2, or 3?
This game is... I feel like I sort of already explained this.
Yeah.
As we were discussing.
Yeah, no, it came right out and said it, I think, at one point.
It's a 1. And it's because of how properly White Moon Dreams has treated this property.
Yeah.
Because like I said, they've brought the price down as time has gone on. There are still launch games that are going for full price.
Yeah.
What is going on there, right? This game came out after launch, and they've dropped the price twice. And even offered it for PlayStation Plus. Like, the deal is though for $15. $15 is a fantastic game, and definite 1. The caveat being that your time with it will be limited if you don't find friends to play it with you, and just add me on your friends list. That would be dark, and I'll play it with you. Now it's a 1. Now that you have friends at Desra.
Yeah.
Right? Now you have 2 friends.
Desra the Strange.
Oh, sorry. Is any underscores or is all?
Nope, Desra the Strange. 1.
Desra the Strange. Now you have 2 friends that'll play it with you, and now it's a 1. Because you do. It's awesome with bots. It's a lot of fun, but man, the fun dies out soon. And the endless replayability comes from playing it with friends. And that's when you get bragging rights, and that's when you get to say, hey, I'm better at this game than you, Justin Parada, and which I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever beaten that guy.
I could have sworn like I almost saw a fist like coming through the screen at us.
Right? Yeah, I think he threw his cat at us. Okay, put Sammy down.
Aww.
But that's the deal. Is that buy this game, absolutely $15, great deal, but also convince some of your friends to buy it as well.
Yeah. I'm going to also give it a 1, but I'm not even going to give the caveat. I think especially for the price it's at now, even if there was an online component, it would absolutely be worth it. Just from a visual standpoint, from a game design standpoint, from a balance and strategic complexity standpoint. This is a well-designed, built, and made game. I almost feel bad paying only $15 for it, honestly. They deserve way more, and I really look forward to seeing what else they have for us. Yeah, it is as one of a one as it comes.
Don't feel too bad. I have now bought this game 6 times.
Yeah, I have my physical copy. Then I also downloaded it again
Yeah.
on when it came out for PS Plus. So I didn't have to use my disc anymore.
Yeah.
Which I actually forgot about until I put my disc in. It's like, oh, I put the Starblood disc in. It's like, do you want to play from the disc and erase all of your data? No,
we're good.
you're not want to do that.
No, I think at one point during some like random like rock bottom like bare bottom of the whatever Christmas sale, but Best Buy had them for like $5 each or something.
Oh, really?
And I bought like 5 of them, and I just handed them out to everybody I knew.
Yeah.
I was like, here, everybody needs to play this game. If that ever happens again, you should also buy 5 of them and give them to all your friends.
Yeah.
Des, I think that kind of does it for another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. This was a great episode. This was a great game to go back to. This reminded me of, I mean, not that we haven't given Starblood the love it deserves, but this is why I love doing this show, because it reminds me of games that just don't get the attention they deserve anymore. Like you put them up on the shelf and you go, oh, Starblood, no one's playing that anymore, and then no one plays it anymore.
Yeah.
Go back and play it, because it's totally worth it. It's better than you remember. But our question to you is, A, do you own Starblood Arena? And if so, what do you think of it? B, or 2, what is your PlayStation Network name? Put it in the comments below, and we can all play Starblood together. And C, or 3, this is getting very confusing. I'm going to run out of letters. There's only so many.
There's 26 from what I hear.
What game do you want? Is that it? I thought there was like 50 letters in the alphabet.
On beyond
A, B, C, D. Oh, we're doing something. What game do you want us to talk about? We're always running low. We've always got a few ideas, but we always want to know what you want us to talk about. And I guarantee you, whatever you're thinking right now is probably the one we're going to do next week.
Yeah.
So, all right, is that it?
That's it.
That's it for another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. My name's Brian Paul.
It's a Psychobilly Freakout. My name's Des.
We'll see you next week.